All right.
Brian, already been a week. Coach Swinney, do you have any opening comments, or you want to go straight to questions?
No, just, it is. It's crazy. It already has been a week. Today was 5, 6, something like that. So it's been fun, though. We got a lot in. Today was kind of a first time to let them play, even though it was kind of a half practice, half live practice, and today, all situations, just reintroducing them to all of that, and then Friday we'll start our clinic tomorrow. So we got a lot going on this week. We got clinic tomorrow and Friday, and we got junior day this weekend. We got a barbecue this weekend with our former players. So big practice day on kind of a clinic type practice day on Friday, and then another half practice, half scrimmage on Saturday, and getting them ready for a full scrimmage next Wednesday. So it's been good. This is a really competitive group, and I like their hunger. I like their mentality of where they are right now, and we just got to keep showing up and keep trying to make each day count.
Thoughts on Wesco now that you've seen him?
Yeah, I mean he's what we hoped he'd be. He's a natural. Probably the biggest. I mean, you rarely one of those guys from a talent standpoint are you shocked, when they get here as far as running and jumping and athleticism, change of direction, all that type of stuff. Usually as much recruiting as we do and evaluation and seeing them in person, you don't miss often on that. I think the biggest thing that I think is a plus for him that's not always the case with guys is he's got a mentality to go with it. He's got a mindset that he's very mature. He's a very mature, young player. Still got a lot to get better at and all that stuff, but he's a natural at what he does, and he likes to be coached. He likes to learn. I think right now we got him in just one spot, trying to just get his feet on the ground, and he's picked things up well. But I've been really pleased with him. It's been he's made a couple nice plays today, as a matter of fact. So he's off to a good start. But again, sometimes you see guys, they got all the talent, man. They can run, they can jump, they can change direction. But their maturity doesn't match the talent, right? As I always say, maybe the commitment's not quite. The talent's greater than the commitment. And he's a kid that he's a really focused, very mature. He's very talented, but he's really committed. His commitment's greater than the talent, and when you have that, you got a chance to get the attention of everybody early. He's done that. Yeah, I mean that's a process he's going to go through. He's made some progress just since he's gotten here in January, but that'll be a ongoing process for him for the next couple of years. He's just a young body that's got to physically mature and develop, but he's in progress of that, and he's a worker. He takes to it. He's very committed. So he's very self-aware of what he knows he needs to do as far as just building his body out a little bit. But it's not something that happens overnight. But he holds up just fine. Hunter Renfro wasn't ever very big. And I don't think he ever weighed more than about 175 pounds here, and he held up okay. So I mean, it's how can you use what you have, and but Hunter was about 155 when he got here, so 175 for him. He was Hulk, right? And so Wesco is in a much better starting point from that. He's 170 something, I guess, but he'll keep progressing there. A long way to go till August, and I think he'll make a big jump. That's one of the reasons I like to go early. Spring, is I like for these guys, we get out of school early in May, that first week, so I like for these guys to get a good 3 weeks of post-spring training and really create that momentum going into the summer. So that'll be big for him.
Sammy Brown's development so far.
Really good. Same thing I would say about Wesco. He's a natural football player, very serious about it, very committed. He's a kid that, like I said, he's just about his business all the time. And we're got just like we're doing with Wesco. We got him at one spot right now, trying to just get him locked in on that. He actually he missed a good bit of the scrimmage because he had a I think it was a math test he had to go to, and then he's not going to be here Friday. He's got to go to Atlanta for the Maxwell Awards. He's being presented with that, and so he needs to be there for that. But he'll be out there on Saturday ready to roll. But he's done well. I mean, that whole group. I mean, I'm pleased with all those freshmen. I think it's 2 years in a row that we've brought in a lot of mature young guys that I think are really serious about it, and so Sammy's definitely one of those guys.
Adam Randall in the yellow jersey, is that
Yeah, he just strained his quad. He had three or four really, really good days. Really pleased with him. Kind of picked up where he left off. He kind of finished the season with a lot of confidence, and he's carried that into the offseason and then really off to a really good start with spring ball and just on a go ball the other day. Just a little tweak in his quad, nothing serious. So just trying to be smart with him so it doesn't linger or lead to anything else. So he's kind of day to day.
Noticed the other day while we were out there, Troy kind of pulled up a little bit. Is he okay?
Troy's always banged up. Always. I've never seen him when he hadn't something's not hurting on him. He's got a hurt thumb or finger or something, but he battles through. He's a tough kid. But he's actually a guy that probably will not finish spring. We made a decision on him. He really needs he's nothing major, but he needs a little cleanup surgery. But we made the decision that he needed to really get all the spring he could get before we did that. We don't want him to miss any of the summer, so that's why we didn't do it before the spring. Because if you know anything about Troy, he hasn't really had a spring. He hadn't really had much of a spring or a fall camp since he's been here. So it was really important for him. I mean, it's not something he can't play with, but we need to get it cleaned up so he can be really 100% and just fully pain free there. But so he's just getting it. He'll go through spring break, and then we'll probably do surgery on him after spring break. So, but that we're going to get. I think we're getting 10 practices in before we break. So that was important and kind of the way we set it up. So he's going to get the majority of the spring, and then the timing of his surgery and what we need to do with him, we'll clean everything up so he's ready to go, full go, this summer. So we don't he can have the type of summer that he needs and be ready to go, fall camp.
How's the center competition been stacking up so far?
It's been good. We got three guys that are really getting all the snaps. Really four. Pendergrass is getting some snaps in there as well. So, solid. I mean, all three of those guys are battling. Got a long way to go. It's now that we're getting into some live type of stuff, it starts getting easier to evaluate. So we'll ramp it up. Again on Saturday, and we'll do a little. I think we got one live period on Friday, but half practice on Saturday, and then a full scrimmage next Wednesday. So, they're battling.
Can you give an update on Ian Reed? I guess some of the medical stuff he was dealing with has been resolved.
Yeah, he's back out there. I mean, he had a tough fall. I mean, he missed weeks and weeks and weeks with his situation. It's something he's dealt with from his whole life, really, from his childhood on, kind of a immunity type of thing. But he's actually doing really good. I'll tell you what, that sucker's tough. He's competitive. He don't back down. I'd say he's a guy that's caught Matt's eye early, just from his toughness. And again, he missed a ton of time this fall. But he's doing a lot better. It seems like they've gotten everything, back in a good spot and regulated and stuff. But football is very important to that kid. That's one thing I can say about him. He's big, he can move, but he cares. He really does care. And I think all those guys that we signed last year fit that. I really do. I'm proud of Flapjack. Big Zach, he's still a work in progress, but man, he's made a lot of progress from where he was this time last year to where he is right now. Night and day. I mean, literally night and day. In fact, this time last year, I was like, well, we'll see him next year, and if he works, then we'll like what we see. If he doesn't, going to be more of the same. But he's a work in progress, the opposite of Wesco, and he's come a long way, and still got another jump we need to make with him between now and August. But I'd say the same thing about him and Ian. Harris obviously came in and played and helped us last year, but I'd say the same thing about him and Ian. They both really care, and they're both freaking tough, and I love that about both. And they're big, so two young guys that are going to battle all spring. Progress. I'm hesitant to say a whole lot, but I like how Matt's challenging him big time, and he's just a guy that's got to develop the consistency in his game. He's got everything. I mean, everything. But as I've said a few times, if we could get his commitment to be better than his talent, he could be a superstar. But he's one of them guys, unfortunately, that's talented enough, even with not fully being committed to being his best, that can kind of get away with it. That's how talented he is. But I'm optimistic and hopeful that we can get him through the knothole. I like how he's responding to Matt, and Matt's really challenging him, and we need him, and he can really help us. And so hopefully we can keep taking some steps forward with him.
The kicker battle going on as well.
Good. It's good. That's the other thing that's been a great, obviously Robert really struggled. And once we got to the season, he was awesome until the lights turned on. And but he seems like he's found his confidence, and he's done really well. And Hoosier's right there with him. I mean, it is fun to watch. In fact, we finished practice today with about 6 kicks or so, and man, they're right there. So we're gonna get better right there, one way or another. I'm really excited about our situation at kicker. A lot. In the fall we didn't see him a whole lot. Again, you get into the weeks and you're getting ready to play, and you had Helms and we had Paul that were 2 and 3. So he did a lot of watching, and obviously he'd get his indie work and some Kelley here or there, but mostly watching. But now he's mostly doing, and he's exactly what I hoped he would be. He makes some mistakes, but man, he'll rip it. He'll pull the trigger. He's a big, strong kid that can really run. He made a couple of plays with his legs today that you're like, okay, and he's just a tough competitor. So, I'm pleased. He's accurate with the ball. He'll put the ball in position where guys have a chance to make a play on it. But he's not afraid. So he's just a guy that's just going to keep getting better because he's getting coached every day now. And it's one thing to mentally rep. It's another thing to physically rep. And so that's been really, really good. And hopefully, Trent hadn't been able to go live yet, but hopefully in the next day or so they'll let him go, get back going live. He was sick, so he's back, but they hadn't really cleared him yet to go full speed yet. So be glad we get some reps from him too. But really proud of really, and Paul's looked good. Paul's got the best job going out there, but he's staying sharp for us, and getting a lot of work, getting all the Kelley work, getting a lot of indie and team separate and stuff like that. He's getting to do, so it's been good for him. But it's a good situation. Cade's been awesome. You see the growth, you see the confidence, you see the maturity in him, and so we just trending in a good direction. Just got to keep it going.
Thinking big picture with tempo, is there another level you want to reach, sort
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's all dictated by staying on schedule, being efficient, not having negative plays, those type of things. And, once you get that rhythm going, then you can really drive the tempo. But it starts with just being more efficient and precise in what we do.
With that, how does the helmet comm, how will that play into guys' tempo?
I don't think it's affect us. I really don't. I don't see it really changing our operation a whole lot. Everything kind of already goes through our quarterback, so I don't see much change. We're practicing with it every day, with the headset and the walkie-talkie deal. So I mean, we're trying to get used to it as a staff, but just you still got a signal. You got a signal to, unless everybody has a headset, you got a signal somewhere. The quarterback's got a signal, and what if it goes out? You still got to have the ability to communicate and signal. So I don't think it'd be that different. We'll see. I mean, we'll figure it out as we go.
Behind Maffa stepped up in the running back room.
That's a position that all those guys have flashed. Unfortunately, Jay hadn't been able to go yet because he tweaked his hamstring and mat drills, and they haven't cut him loose yet. But he's better. He's better. He's getting there. So I hate it because every time, literally, like we were going to play him this fall, and he had the high ankle sprain, and then we get him back, and we're getting ready for the bowl game, and he had a hamstring or whatever it was, growing. I can't remember what it was, and so he never really got the opportunity. But we've all seen it on our practice field, and so we're excited about his potential, but we just got to have him available, and hopefully he'll be able to get something before the end of spring. But it's been a great opportunity for those other guys, and they've all taken advantage of it. Man, Hammer, Keith Adams, man, he's improving every day. He's just different. He's different than all those other guys. You look at him and you think he's truly a sledgehammer, just thick and powerful, and he's all of that. But he's got a little better change of direction than you think. This kid can stick a foot in the ground, and he's really, really improved just with his vision and his understanding of everything we're doing in the run game. So I'm really proud of him. I mean, he's a handful. He's kind of unique, but he is a handful. He's a tough dude to tackle. And then Jarvis, he's a natural. He's just a natural running back. I mean, this kid's just, everything he does, it just comes fluid to him. Like, he catches the ball naturally. He's not the biggest guy, but he plays big. And, guy's Gatorade Player of the Year in the state. I mean, guy played at a great program, well coached, tough. He's a really good football player, and he's positioned himself to help us, So just getting better and better. And then Easy E, man, Easy E's showing up. I mean, he's getting all the pride work right now, and it's been good for him. And he's what we hoped he'd be. He's a little erratic right now. I would say not as polished, but he's wide open, and he is fast. He's a strong kid. He's tough and physical. I mean, he's everything we hoped he'd be, and I love how he's taken to the coaching. So I mean, that's a good room, man. It's a good room without Jay Haynes right now. So I think we got a chance. And then Phil's Phil. He had a huge play today. I think it was about 3rd and 3, and he ripped one off for about 50. Patient. I mean, it's just fun to watch him where he is right now and how he's evolved, his patience, and I would say David may be similar, if you go back to freshman Phil, similar and just kind of, where he is right now and just how he's progressed from a development standpoint. His body's in great shape. He catches the ball well. He understands the scheme, the protections. He's patient in the run game. And then he's explosive through the hole, and he's got the ability to pull away in the open field. But really proud of him.
You don't have fullbacks on the roster anymore. Nobody recruits them. Keith has played that for you. How big is it to have a guy who can come in and say, hey, if we're only line you up at fullback, you can do it? And does he embrace that chance to get on the field and help however?
Yeah, I think anytime we get in our two-back type of stuff, that you've got to be willing to do that. Just like we had with Shipley and Maffa. Somebody's got to lead, somebody's got to kick out. There's a lot that goes into it. I mean, you don't have a lot of just true I formation. If I get in a true I formation, I'm putting one of them big dudes back there. But yeah, I mean, Keith runs the ball like an old school fullback, that could really, really run. I mean, like he's got tailback talent, but he's got that fullback mentality. If that makes sense. And back in the day, Kevin Turner was the epitome of that. KT, Nolan's dad, Cole's dad, second round draft pick, but he came to Alabama as a tailback and grew into a fullback. But he always played fullback like a tailback. That's how he ran the ball. That's how he caught the ball. And the game was different in those days. But Hammerhead, man, he's a load. I mean, he is a load. This kid, again, and that what we're trying to get him to do is just be him, and just be who he is, and don't worry about anything else, because there'll be a role for him. I really believe that.
What is Stellato's surgery going to be?
He's gonna have a little cleanup on his shoulder. He's played with it, and he can keep going, but it's just something, for the season we need to get cleaned up. But just again, if he was a guy that had a lot more experience, we probably would have gone ahead and done it before spring. But he needs the work, and he knew, and he's practiced his butt off, man. Kid's out there competing. Made a couple great plays today. That's one thing you can say about Troy. He's tough. He is a tough, competitive dude, and if we can just keep him available, he's going to be productive. So it's been good and really good for him to be able to get, like I said, the way we timed it up. He'll get the 10 practices, and then we'll scope him up, clean him up, and then he'll be ready to go for the summer.
Peter would be one of your fastest defensive moments so he can play outside. But I guess technically, where is he as a pass rusher right now? So he has to learn.
Yeah, I mean, I think when he's played everywhere. I mean, high school he's played on the outside. He's played all over the place. So it's not like he's spent his life at one position and has to all of a sudden learn to play in space. But the biggest thing is from where he was last year is when you're playing on the edge. It's you're still using the same technique, but you got a little more room. You got a little more space, and so your technique of closing the space, your footwork, single move, double move, up and under, spin, all those things, speed to power, which obviously he can do. He can't just bowl his way every time. So really working on his counters and just his true pass rush technique from a position where oftentimes he's got space. Whereas when you're inside, you don't always – you're still the same stuff. Everything's just tighter, and you got other people right there that you're weaving through. So that's it. I mean, the rest – he's just a natural. It ain't going to take him long. He's looked good. He looks good out there.
Just think of a Wiggins or
Not surprised. Thought he'd be faster. It must have been a bad surface or something. He's out there today. Most all those guys are in town. It's about what I thought he'd do. I mean, he's fast dude, and happy for him. He's put himself in position to. He's got the tape. He checked the tape, made a lot of plays, gotten better every year. He's still a work in progress. His best football is still in front of him, but he's in position, and then he's done what he needed to do from measurables, just his all that stuff that everybody makes such a big deal about, that to separate himself He's not an average guy. He's special.
Cole Turner, obviously got explosive last year. How has he been selling that game?
Yeah, him and Antonio. I mean, it's great to have them both, man. They look great. Cole had a big play today on third down. Antonio had a couple big plays. I mean, they both they're happy. They're excited to be back out there. You know, when you have something taken away from you. You know, Cole's never been hurt. Antonio's always played, and all of a sudden you can't play. You know, Antonio played 3.5 games, so you know until we got to the bowl game, and he played some snaps in that. I don't know, 20 snaps or something. And Cole played a game and a quarter. So they're just excited to be back out there playing, and we look different when they're out there. It's a different group, you know, and we don't have Noble out there right now, so he's you know out, but we outside of Noble, and we had everybody out there, and then Tyler Brown, and we think after spring break we'll get Tyler. You know, Tyler had the screw put in his foot, so we think after spring break we'll get him. He looks really good. So we kind of started with just Noble and Tyler out. We looked the part. So we got work to do, but we looked the part, and that's good to see. This time last year we had like one scholarship guy in spring practice. So, but obviously we'll get, and then Adam's off to a great start. So hopefully we'll get him back sometime soon. But he's had a great start. Troy's had a good start. Antonio, Cole, Ronan had a nice day today. Ronan he's a big, physical, strong kid that's developing his confidence. Ultra competitive guy. So I mean, it's a fun group, and you know, you throw in there Tink. Tink's out there rolling around. He's a guy you go, whoa, okay, and then boom, here's Wesco showing up, jumping in there. So it's a group that looks the part. So if we can put it all together and catch a break from a health standpoint, and we get obviously TJ's going to be here summer 1, so we'll get him here in May. So I'm excited about that, and you know, get Troy the majority of spring, get him cleaned up, and then you know, Noble's going to be out for the spring with his injury, so won't have him. I hate it for him, but you know, he put himself in that situation.
Tink be able to help you in the return game?
Absolutely, no question. Yeah. Yep, Tink can help us in a lot of places. I mean, he's a good football player, just a well-rounded guy. And he's another guy that didn't get much opportunity last year and had to have surgery. But he's a well-rounded athlete. I mean, there's a lot he can do, and we've kind of settled in with where we want him. So, you know, he's got 4 years left, got a lot of football. You know, it's a good group. Cole technically has got 4 years left, you know, because we can get his year back. Because he redshirted. If you redshirt and then you get hurt again and lose another year to injury, you can get that year back. So he's technically got 4 more years, and so it's I like where we are at that position, and we'll see how it all comes together and shakes out. But you know, it's a good start to this point.
I was laughing with Ross the other day. The tight end group probably looked pretty good coming off the bus.
Yeah.
Do you like what you've seen out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brenny is as he should be. I mean, he looks like a pro out there. That's what he should look like. You know, going into his 4th year, the kid's played 3 years. He's got a lot of experience. You know, he's kind of been through the battles, and he looks very focused on what he wants to do. I mean, this kid's a great player. He's very talented, and I'm just proud of him because he's matured. He was kind of a little immature early on as far as just, you know, what it was going to take for him to get to be the best version of Brenny. But, man, he's bought into it, and he's a tough kid, and he's a tough competitor. Great finisher on the ball, and he's just the chemistry, you know, with Cade is good, and just proud of him, man. He's leading that group, so we know what we got. And Brenny and Maffa, I ain't worried about either one of them two dudes. I feel really, really good about where both of them are, but I'm excited about what's behind them at both spots. And man, I'm gonna tell you, nobody talks about Josh Sapp, but Josh Sapp he's a baller. He's a good football player, man. This kid he's kind of the Grady Jarrett of the tight ends. You know, he doesn't necessarily look the part. You know, you wish he was a little bigger, right? But, man, he plays like he's 6'5". This kid's a really, really good football player. And that's kind of what we hoped he'd be. I mean, he's played every position except offensive line. He was a quarterback. He's played running back. He's played tight end. He played receiver. He's played DN. He's played linebacker. He's played safety. He's a great basketball player. And it just shows, you know. And what I love about him is it's his mentality. I mean, he's got the mentality. Like, he thinks he's 6'5", 250. That's how he plays. Grady Jarrett thought he was, 6'5", 310. Still does. And you know what? That's a huge part of it. And that's one thing I love that about Sab. This kid's, he's just sneaky fast, sneaky athletic, knows how to use he's kind of got a unique body for the position. Plays bigger than he is. I mean, I'm really, really pleased with him. And then, man, Olsen and Marcus. That's two dudes definitely you won't getting off the bus with you. Olsen, we saw it last year. I mean, this kid's on his way. And then Marcus didn't get as much opportunity, but he's probably the most physical guy in his route running, really knows how to use his body. So it's a really, really good group, and Bentoncourt's on the way. And we got Blue Jeans, who's kind of carved out a little role too. Banks Pope. He's just an old blue collar guy out there that scraps and fights and has a little role for us as well. So it's a good group. Kyle's done a great job. Kyle's done a great job coaching that room and recruiting that room.
Few sitting head coaches, Jeff Hafley in the NFL, and Jim Kelley, head coach, offensive coordinator, talking about the stresses of the job and everything that goes into coaching. How do you kind of stay in it and engage with it, and how do you kind of help your staff balance that stuff with how much goes into being a coach?
Yeah. Well, I just try to manage our calendar, and not let the calendar manage us. That's number one. And number two, everything, the way I manage everything is through my faith. So I don't get overwhelmed. I just try to stay connected to my power source, if you will, to keep my battery charged up. I'm no different than anybody else. If I don't stay plugged into that power source, my battery will get low too, right? And so I just try to stay charged up and keep a good, healthy perspective on just what I need to do day in and day out, and just stay focused on what I control. I love coming to work. I love my guys. I just focus on the purpose, and so I just stay purpose driven. I try not to get distracted by all the stuff that we don't control. There's certainly some challenges, but I think we're eventually it'll all settle out a little bit. Just a lot going on right now, and so just staying. I think the best thing to do is just keep your blinders on, stay focused on what you're doing, one step at a time, one day at a time, and that's just what I try to do. But from a staff standpoint, I've always tried to manage the calendar in a way where they can, not have to sacrifice their family to do their job. That's very important to me, that they can be, good dads, good husbands, so it really hasn't changed much for us. We've been able to do what we do at a high level, and I think we're going to continue to do that.
Avieon looked like he had his right ankle wrapped the last couple of days. He was in green on Friday. Is there anything to worry about there?
No, he's practicing. He's back at it.
The NCAA voted to push early
National signing dates the first week of December. Was that kind of like the ideal date that you were looking for, that you prefer with it to get away from the transfer?
I'm in the camp of anything earlier I was good with. Honestly, I didn't really care. I 5 years ago, if you'd have said, I'd have said August 1. That was I tried to push for that for years, and but I was for anything earlier than the portal signing when the portal opens, just to give the high school kids an opportunity to sign before the portal opens. So I'm great with it. Fine with me.
Take one or two more, go ahead.
What do you think about you saw the 6'9", 380 walk-on show up Cardone?
Cardone, yeah, Big Dom. Yeah, he's tried out a couple times. We told him we'd give him a shot this spring, and he made it through mat drill. So I don't know if he was going to make it through mat drills. Over under was not in his favor, going into it. But man, that big kid pushed right through it, and he did a nice job. He's a nice kid. I really like him, and we might travel him just for him to get off the bus first. He is a massive, massive human being, and in fact, I was yelling at Zach Owens the other day. I was getting after him. I wasn't getting after him. I was just creating a matchup. I said, all right, I got the heaviest OL, and I got the lightest D lineman, and it's fixing to be it. We're going to see what's happening. And Zach goes, I'm the second heaviest OL coach. And so he messed that up. Zach was so happy. Zach Owens is the happiest guy in the building that he's not the heaviest OL. But, yeah, that is a big, big, big man. So he hung in there. He's hung in there in the off season and made it through the mat drills, and good kid. Team likes him, so he's doing what he needs to do.
That's a big group.
Big, yeah, we're big. Yeah, same thing. We look the part. We got to go play the part. It's like wide out, man. We back in business. We look the part, but we got to go. We got to go perform, right? It's not about. Ain't a beauty contest, and it's not about potential, but we do look the part. We're big, strong, but if you look at the makeup of our roster too, I mean, we got a bunch of guys that have played, that have been around here for a few years, and then you throw in there, 7 guys that have started, and then you throw in there Linthicum, who's a big kid. Dietrich is a massive, massive person, lean, strong. And then you look at some of these young guys that we've brought in here. I mean, these guys are huge. Sadler's big. Blake obviously is big. A couple young guys, and then you look at Zach and Ian Reed. All those freshmen are big kids. Every single one of them. Ronan's a big dude. Watson is a big, thick kid as well. Mason is big. So I mean, it's a really good. Elijah's a big kid. They're all got what the size that we're looking for.
Yeah, that was kind of a nice question. That's what Matt wants. These bigger guys, right?
Yeah, and he was happy, to see that. Hey, okay, we got a little more here than maybe he thought. And then when these guys showing up, it worked out good because for a while there, we just had Ronan committed, and then all of a sudden, bam, we got Mason, we got Elijah, we took Watson late. So yeah, we're tracking on some big dudes for sure. We need a little length and just continue to build the profile there.
Is there a timetable on Jeadyn Lukus coming back?
He'll be back this summer. He'll be ready to go. He was another guy that we went ahead and made the decision because we wanted him to have a full summer on what we needed to do with him. But he's good. I mean, he's tracking good. He's going to be out all spring, but he's doing well. Walker Parks is doing well. He's another guy we forget about, but he's trending in a good direction. He's starting to get in there and start to do some indie work with the OL. So I'm excited about that. But J. Lou's, we feel great about J. Lou and just what he brings to the table. So the other side of it is, man, Shelton and Avieon and Miles and the young buck out there, Tavoy. We moved Mankaka over there. He's doing a good job for us over there. Austin Randall. We got a good little group. Strozier's getting back in practice now, so it's good to see him, getting back going. And then obviously got a couple more guys that'll be with us.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Okay, appreciate it.